Today is Thursday, the 30th of June 2022, and I've taken the day off work. I'm back in tomorrow, and that may sound a little unusual because usually, if you're only booking one day out of the week off work, it's either the Friday or the Monday to extend the weekend. But because today's the 30th, yesterday was the 29th, which was when my band was meant to be opening for the big American rock band Eyes Set to Kill. Sadly though, there were issues with the band's visas, so the whole tour has had to be postponed. So last night I was hoping, first of all, to flirt outrageously with Alexia Rodriguez, the lead singer from Eyes Set to Kill, and secondly, I was hoping to come off stage and get propositioned by a few young ladies in the crowd, whereupon I would explain, look love, I'm married, it'll have to be your place. But instead, last night I went to bed at 10:15 so I could be up early to clean the house top to bottom and go and do the weekly shop. Rock and fucking roll. Although I will say, going to a supermarket around midday, that's a different world. When you're surrounded by the elderly and the unemployed, well, I felt like a god because there were people in that supermarket who looked like they'd never seen electric lighting before. However, it gave me time to get home and have a read through stories on the internet, and one of them is what I'm going to discuss. So, last weekend, a 29-year-old man won a skateboarding competition in New York. That's not a very interesting story, but it's like many stories we've been hearing over the last few years. This 29-year-old man identifies as a woman and absolutely wiped the floor with the biological female competition. And what makes this one even worse is the youngest competitor, going up against a 29-year-old biological man, was 10. Of the 6 competitors, only 2 of them, including the 29-year-old, were over the age of 17. The girl who came in second was 13 years old. A 13-year-old, an adolescent girl, competing against a 29-year-old man. Now, I'll be nice because this person identifies as female and says that she is a trans woman, so I'll use those pronouns. But there's more to it than that. So this is Ricky Trez, and she has been on hormones for the last 2 years. But in my opinion, anyone who goes through puberty as a male has a massive physical advantage over female competitors. And not only that, this woman, who's a father of 3, up until the age of 27, was a petty officer 2nd class in the United States Navy. Last year, she applied to join the US Olympic skateboarding team, and she was given the reply, words to the effect of, off you fuck. But because there are different laws in different states in the USA, someone in New York thought it was okay for someone who was biologically male and a military veteran to compete against little girls, some of whom haven't gone through puberty. I've said many times before, if you're watching this and you're trans, live your best life. I hope you're happy. But no one should gain rights by taking them away from someone else. And trans women always have a massive advantage. It's fucking irrefutable. However, Miss Trez says it doesn't apply to skateboarding because skateboarding is done solely on skill. There's a dairy farm over there, and I just got a whiff of bullshit. If that were the case, then how come at the Olympics during the skateboarding, the male skaters were going an extra 10 feet into the air coming out of the halfpipe, doing more turns, more tricks, taking harder landings, and getting injured less often? Almost as if you're born male, you're stronger and can take more impact. I mean, I'm not a biologist, but I think that's the fucking gist of it. But this weirdo is competing against girls who haven't finished fucking growing yet. And it's not the first time this has happened. Back in May, there was another skateboarding competition in the USA where a transgender skater annihilated the competition. And the woman who came second, actually no, the woman who came first, because the person who was said to have come first is a biological man who had no business being in that fucking competition. She spoke up about it. I think her name's Taylor Silverman. And she pointed out that not only are trans athletes taking the podiums, taking the wins away from female athletes, they're also taking the prize money. And when she posted this on Instagram, She was called a bigot, a transphobe, a TERF, a whore, everything under the sun, got multiple death threats, because that always happens if you speak up against the trans movement. And the thing, I'll say this again, I'm not against trans people, but I am against biological men or someone who's gone through puberty as a man competing against a woman. Because it just isn't fucking fair. But sadly, we're now living in an episode of South Park. Returning to the subject of today's video, Ricky Trez. She says the reason she wants to be a woman is that women are pretty and feminine and delicate. And that's all fair enough. Because there are effeminate men and there are masculine women. However, being shit at a sport or being fuck ugly doesn't make you a different gender. However, Miss Trez has a very short memory and she shot herself in the foot. You see, last year she gave an interview to the Daily Mail upon being rejected for the US Olympic team, saying, and remember, she says here that she's got no physical advantage. She uttered 6 words, and I quote, "I will never be a woman." And on top of that, she hasn't had any gender reassignment surgery. So this is a woman who still has a cock and balls. How the fuck have we got to this point? For millennia, it was very simple. If someone had a penis, that was a male. When did it fucking change? And when it comes to trans women competing in women's sports, I think either they're so narcissistic they can't see the damage they're causing, or they're just fucking evil. Because to be blunt, saying I identify as just means I'm pretending to be. As ever, thanks for watching. Well done for getting through this one, because it was fucking rough.